Hello, this is Amy from iTradeAIMS.net. Let's have a quick look at what we saw on DAX 30 today. So first thing, I will talk about where the DAX opened today. I had a live commentary on this for about the first 30 minutes, Discord channel, but that has not been recorded, otherwise I would have added to it. So this is the M5 chart, and I actually went long over here based on what I saw on the M1 and what I thought was the before I say that, so what we saw before that, let's ignore this bit for the first to start with. So before I went long here, what I saw was these levels here, here and here, and this was marked as the low of the range with this black line, and I had marked the high of the range. I had two highs to play with. One is here, that is the all-time high, and then the other one, the overnight range, was created here. So I was working between those. So I went long and price bounced against that, and I got my profits. Then I got in one more time on the M1. It's not visible on this, and I was watching that range over there, and I was doing all the commentary, and then it created something that I used to take a sell trade here, but instead of talking about that, I'm going to talk about this type of trading, which is called the how to trade the range market. So the idea is to sell the highs of the range or buy the low of the range. All right, so let me change the color of my arrow so we can talk about the new stuff. So now I've pointed at this point currently, what we see now, this is the spot where I left the screen. I was not interested anymore, and around here, so around this point here, this was the range we were playing with. So we wanted the price to go above this or below this. Otherwise I was not interested. Emma made a call here that it broke the range. It did break the range, but it came back into it, creating that first pullback entry on the 5-minute chart. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 candle pullback, a really nice clean stop inside it, but it was still for me inside the range. I did not take that, so I waited for the break. It broke out here, and this was my first entry signal. So we have to understand that the seed signal and the cherry signal are based on pullback setups. So cherry is only for pullbacks, for pullback like this, whereas seed has two uses. It can be used for a Waltz setup. So what is a Waltz setup? The Waltz pattern basically is made of 2 to 3 trend candles like we see here, and specifically in this situation that we saw all of the other story that we saw of the chart. So now we know that price is actually broken out of the range. It's pulled back and then it's going back again. So as you can see over here, you have an outside candle, and then it closes outside the range, and then there's another candle that reacts to this level and then takes a pause. So it was a perfect Waltz signal. I missed this one, but I took this one. Again, as you can see, it's 1, 2, 3. It's high volatility time. The range of the seed was very tight, so the stop loss was, I think, 7, and target point was 14. That was it at 11 over here, and that was a nice 2R, and I walked away. Now as I come back to the chart and I'm looking at it, I see what I have now drawn. So now I'm going to talk about these 1, 2, 3s. So the first point, this is the point of the breakout of the previous range, like I explained. The second point is now where it has now poked out of the volatility, so it's highly volatile now. It's more than 2x volatility of this period on the 5-minute chart. What it does is that it alerts us to actually now wait for a pullback. Now on this occasion, it's actually pulled back more than the midline, but it has stopped at a very crucial spot. So you see that line that we had previously? It is based on that range. So at that time, it was the support of that range. But with this move and then with this second touch, this support turned into a resistance. This was your first point. Number 3 was your first point to actually go short. It would still be considered as a pullback entry. pullback with the support resistance. So that would be a pullback entry. You could still have taken that. But then what happens at 4? Here you see this failure. So it fails to break the lows. So no, for this to be a trend, this should, well, firstly, it should not have come all the way up there. This is the first indication where you could kind of expect or begin to expect that there's a probability that, you know, you might go into a range because it's pulled back too much. But the fact that it's actually hit the support resistance level and now it's going down, maybe it will break the lows, but it didn't break it. And as you can see, you have this 2 candles which are reversal candles. If you had accepted by this time, and I could do sometimes, that this is now a range, these 2 candles were your spot to go long. So you'll go long there, and where would you be proven wrong? It would be either below the low of this candle or below the low of this, whichever is your risk management style. If I took that long, I would have my hard stop loss here, but mentally, if price started to go below this, I would probably get out. And where would be your target? Your target is straight away as previous levels. But if you did not take that, then this over here is now your second hit. This is your second touch of that pivot zone that it's now well established. And then you have a confirmation candle as well. As you can see, this one, it's an outside candle. And as soon as this is printed, you go short, and your stop loss is clearly above the high of that. And you would target this level, and that's it. So this was today's trading, and this is the lesson in how to trade ranges. The idea is to create a range, understand the range, and then buy its lows and sell its highs. So there we go.